welcome Jain Edwards.
To see a woman on stage, thank you so much. I love doing stand-up, right? This is what I love to do. I love being a part of comedy. Comedy can be a bit of a boys' club. I don't know if you guys, if you're aware of that. I don't mind that though, you know, I don't mind that. I'm very much like a guy's girl. I'm very chill, like a chill girl. I'll give you an example of how chill I am. I had this ex-boyfriend once, right, and he got addicted to Babe Station, okay? Completely gone on the stuff, right? Loved Babe Station. And I got a job to pay for it. That's how chill I am. A lot of jealous husbands in the crowd, yeah. That job was working at Babe Station. And I didn't have, you know, like the little outfits or anything like that. I just had my Speedo swimming cozy. And I had a verruca at the time, right? So I had to wear, you know, one of those rubber verruca socks that we wore in the 90s when we went swimming. But I'm pulling it off right, I'm holding my own, okay, I'm looking good. The thing they don't tell you about working at Babe Station is that the bed is deceptively snuggly. It's cozy as hell in that bed, it's crazy. So I kept falling asleep. And I have night terrors, right? So every day, you know, the girls would be doing their thing and I'd just be lying there with my eyes wide open, trying to thrash around but not being able to. And after a couple of weeks of this, right, the guy who owns Babe Station, a guy called Mike Babe Station, Mr. Babe Station to me, obviously. He calls me into his office, right, and he says, "Jane, you're not doing your job." I said, "Mr. Babe Station, sir, I'm trying to, but all these weird men keep ringing in, saying all this sexual stuff to me, right? Asking me what that verruca sock do, you know, it's horrible." Horrible work environment. So I got fired from Babe Station, okay? And I know a lot of you in here, you know, you've been through that yourselves. You know that 10% of the population of Britain has at one point been fired from Babe Station. Terrifying statistic, I know. And I sunk really low, right? I got so low. I ended up getting hooked on, you know those 2p coin pusher machines at the arcade? Arguably one of the most low-risk addictions you can have. You know, I was getting out of hand. I was spending up to £3-4 a day. It was crazy. You know, one day, right, I'm hunched over the machine, pumping the slots. Sure, I'm going to get my 20p back, right? And I look up through the glass, and there, past the fake gold necklaces and knockoff Homer Simpson plushies, there he is, my dream man. McAnthony. He was 7 foot tall, he had cold, dead eyes, he had the personality of a boot stamping on a human face forever. My dream guy, right? We ended up getting together, we got married, and we had one of the best Shrek-themed weddings that Rhyl has ever seen. I can't believe I'm with him. He teaches me so much about the world. Mainly that it's flat. And he's a real high-value male, McAnthony. Seriously, you should see his samurai sword collection. It's crazy. He's the top mod on an anime Reddit forum. Who am I? You know? Who am I? And I knew what a great guy he was when I got with him, right? I felt really lucky, but I knew that for him, I was a tiny bit of a letdown. You know, McAnthony, he wanted a trad wife, a traducian wife. That's a wife that believes that the soul of the child is inherited through the parents, and I just can't get on board with it, do you know what I mean? I don't know what it means, and after a few years together, right, he comes to me and he asks to open up our relationship. Now, I know that these days there's a lot of like newfangled ideas about how relationships can be. We wanted something a little bit more traditional, so we decided to go for old school polyamory, which basically just means that he's going to have a secret family. And if it all goes well, me and her won't find out about each other until just after he dies. You know? That's how marriage should be. That's a good British marriage. So it should be. But it wasn't enough for McAnthony, right? And he comes to me one day and he says, Jane, I need to breed with other women in order to make an army of super children, okay? It's the line that no wife wants to hear. But every wife inevitably will. I know some of you are wondering, Jane, why doesn't McAnthony have children with you? You know, I always knew that McAnthony wanted to be a dad, right? That's how it was. And, you know, he's always wanted to join Fathers for Justice since I met him. He's already got his outfit picked out, you know. Joker, obviously. But he can't have children with me, right? Because he wants a very specific thing from women. McAnthony is a big leg guy, okay? He likes women with freakishly long legs, and I'm normal sized, so I don't cut it. And I found this out because I discovered his internet search history. Now, I don't want to expose a man this early on in the show, okay? It gives me no pleasure, but I have brought his internet search history with me tonight, so cop a load of this, right? Beautiful lady, hot women, sexy woman, breast, large vagina, beautiful legs, hurts me, long legs, strangely long legs, medical condition legs, Jessica Rabbit legs, really long Jessica Rabbit legs, AI really frighteningly long legs, Wallace from Wallace and Gromit, AI naked Wallace from Wallace and Gromit, Wallace from Wallace and Gromit erotic, Aardman Studios BTS leak of Wallace naked, Wallace from Wallace and Gromit balls look like. How to erase search history. So I'm child-free. I'm child-free, and I'm trying to get into that child-free lifestyle right now, you know, which for women means building a gingerbread house in the forest to lure lost children. That kind of lifestyle, it does mean that I get pushed into ovens a lot. And every time it happens, I just think, why don't I buy an air fryer? You know? Make it harder for them. I'm on birth control in order to remain an empty vessel. And I don't like, you know, like they have like the pill and the injection and stuff like that. I don't like any of that newfangled stuff. It's not for me. I like something a bit more organic. So what I do is I go outside, I open my mouth, and I hope the chemtrails get in. It's been working a treat. It really works. It works. If you don't know what chemtrails are, let me radicalise you, right? You know when the sky is completely clear? Yeah. But there's just one streak of cloud going through it. Yeah. That's the government putting chemicals on or in or around us. Don't really know how it works. To stop us from making right-wing podcasts. And it ain't working. I can tell you that. We keep making them, don't we, boys? They'll never stop us. They'll never stop us. You know, I think that some people think that chemtrails is a conspiracy theory. No, it's not. Right? It isn't. I'll tell you what is a conspiracy theory. I'm 37 now. I've had no changes to my life in the last few years. I've not had any new diets, I've not had any new exercise regimes. As I say, I've not had any children. And yet, my tits are sagging. It doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense. I'm convinced that someone's coming in the night and pulling on them. So I got this webcam to catch him, right? This webcam, and I'm watching the footage back. I'm watching the footage back overnight. Obviously, it's me sleeping in my bed throughout the night. But as I'm watching, a figure appears on the screen. And it walks over to the bed. And I realise it's McAnthony. He walks over to the bed. And he just grabs hold of one of my legs. And he starts pulling on it and whispering, "Grow, grow." I don't know where it went wrong for me and McAnthony, you know, I don't know where it went wrong. I wish we could go back to where we met in the Rhyl arcade. You know, we're both from Rhyl, we're both Rhyl-heads, and if you don't know what Rhyl is, it's basically North Wales' only cursed town. That's what it's famous for. It used to have something called the Sun Centre, which most people know it for. It was sort of like an indoor water park that was big with fans of waterlogged nappies and, you know, lifeguards who looked like kill again. Had that kind of vibe to it, and they tore that down, so now the only thing to do in Rhyl is to stand in front of a bomb marsh and watch a seagull eating a pigeon. Into that. It's quite a rough place to grow up, Rhyl, and I had a typical working class upbringing. I was dead by age 3. And haven't I done well for myself? Beating the odds. Good for me. Good for me. You know, it's harder to be a working class comedian these days, and it's not so much because, you know, you don't have the same networking skills, the same financial freedoms, or, you know, the same social status as other acts. It's more just that every single working class person in Britain is constantly thinking about dog racing. It makes it very hard to get anything done. You know? I said that to my friend, and he says to me, "Jane, you're not working class. Your dad has a Wikipedia page." And I said, "Yeah, but not because he's famous. It's because he drank the most amount of Monster energy drink anyone's ever drunk." Ended up in an iron lung. I'm kind of like an iron lung revivalist, right? Stay with me on this one. Stay right where you are. You know when you look back at the iron lung era, right? We know it, we love it. The iron lung era. You look back at those photographs of people in the 50s, all in iron lungs, all in hospital. Not a phone in sight. We lost something there as a country. We lost something there. Take me back. So I am a Nepo baby, as I say. Very famous father. And I did what most Nepo babies do. I got into stand-up comedy, you know? It wastes the day away. So I thought, yeah, I could do that. And when I first got into it, I wanted to be the first famous woman from Rhyl. Because I thought we had no famous women from Rhyl. I'd never heard of one. But I did a quick Google and I found out that there is one. Okay, it's a woman called Ruth Ellis. Now, if you don't know who Ruth Ellis is, she's a woman who started from nothing, right? Humble beginnings, this woman. She worked so hard. She worked her whole life and went on to become the last woman to be hanged in Britain. Just goes to show you can achieve anything, you know? Achieve those goals. And I was annoyed, obviously, when I found out about her because she'd taken my title from me, first famous woman from Rhyl. But then I thought, Ruth Ellis, the last woman to be hanged in Britain. The way this country's going, give it a few years, and I'll easily be able to take her title from her. She's not got long on that. Not in Farage's Britain. Not in. There's no way. There's no way. I have a lot in common with Ruth Ellis. I couldn't sort of stay mad with her. We have a lot in common. We're very similar women. You know, we both grew up in Rhyl. We're both glamour pussies. Okay. We're both convicted criminals. Her murder, me sticking my arm in the grabber game at the arcade. But we were both bullied as children, and weirdly we were both bullied by women as children, in very specific detail. And I know now as an adult that when women bully you, it's without a doubt, without question, because they are jealous of you. That's it. Drink. It could also have been because when I was a child, I was obsessed with the gunpowder plot. We all know the gunpowder plot, okay? It's the true historical tale that we teach to children in order for them to learn about the treasonous nature of Catholics, okay? And it's a good lesson to learn early on. It's good to teach them. It's good to teach them that. I saw something more than that in it when I was growing up, right? To me, the gunpowder plot is really about peak male friendship. That's really what it is, you know? Look at everything that they achieved with no group chat. It's crazy. It's crazy. Guys today can't even get a five-a-side together. Do you know what I mean? Good for them, good for them. And I think when I was a kid, that's what I wanted, you know? I wanted this tight-knit group of friends that was bound together by friendship, treason, and a love of cool hats, you know? That's what every child wants. But as I say, I got quite badly bullied growing up, and I got bullied from age 4, right? Straight out the gate, straight into primary school, getting bullied. And the main thing that used to happen to me in primary school was that these older girls would come and find me, and they just sort of like rag me around like a doll. And this one playtime, they came, because the whole of the playground was all iced over, right, this one break time. So they came and found me, and they made a game out of each taking one of my arms and pulling me on the soles of my shoes across the ice, right? Now, eventually, I fell forward, and I didn't have my arms to break my fall. So I fell straight onto my face and ended up breaking my nose. But because I didn't cry or I didn't react in the way that other children would have reacted, they just kept me in school for the whole day. It was the strangest thing. They didn't do nothing though. They had this, like, magical material. If you've ever heard of this stuff, it's like a blue tissue. On a roll, right? And you pull it off and you run it underwater and it heals bones. It's crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. So they're shoving that in my nose all day to stop the bleeding, right? And I go out to my mother at the end of the day. My mother's like, she's like a proper real woman. She's not a soft sod like me. And she went into the school and she tried to beat up the teacher. So my second memory is my mother just doing this around tables, trying to grab hold of this woman's lanyard, right? But even though it was quite a traumatic experience, and even though that happened, I always say to people, if you're getting bullied when you're younger, you grow up, everything changes, your life completely changes, people change. Because just a few months ago, one of those girls who used to bully me got in touch with me, right? And I don't know what she sees in me now. I don't know what's changed in her, what's changed in her perception of me. But she sent me this message on Facebook asking me to be a part of her multi-level marketing scheme. I couldn't believe it. I've always wanted to be in a multi-level marketing scheme. They're very hard to get into. I don't know if anyone else has found that. They're very hard to get into. I just think that multi-level marketing schemes, they're good for women, right? They're good for women. It's good that women are doing low-level fraud on each other. It's good. It's good. It's a good thing. Because they could be out doing anything. They could be out ruining a harvest or bewitching a child. You can't be too careful. And I think a part of my admiration for multi-level marketing schemes is because, I'm a bit embarrassed to admit this, but I've always wanted to be a girl boss, right? I always wanted to be a girl boss. I'm naturally an incredibly shy, quiet person, and I've always wanted to be, those women that walk into a room and dominate it. And I said this to my friend, and she says, well, let me give you a bit of advice. She says, if you ever feel intimidated doing something, intimidated by other people, say you're performing in front of an audience, what you should do is you should imagine everyone naked. I'm too horny for that. That don't work for me. So I came up with my own system, okay? I thought, okay, I'll imagine everyone at their lowest point, at their most vulnerable point in their lives, right? And I'll feel better about myself, I'll feel good. I won't be intimidated. I thought, when is the lowest point of everyone's life? It's when they've just been born. Think about it. Have you seen videos of these people who've just been born? It's crazy. They look like little chickens, they're covered in goo. I've been drunk in my time. You'd never catch me in that state. I'm dominating that. I'm definitely better than that, That doesn't intimidate me at all. There's no way. And I said this to my mother. I said, do you know what? I've grown so much as a person. I don't want to be scared of the world anymore. I'm going to imagine everyone like they've just been born. Because that could never be me. You'd never catch me being born. Never. And for it to be filmed and put on the internet? No way. I would never allow that to happen. And my mother turns to me and she says, Jane, you were born. You were born. And when I came to, I stopped being sick. She said, wait, Jane, you actually had a very special birth, you know, a special baby. You had something called a breech birth. Now, if you don't know what a breech birth is, it's basically when the baby is in the canal, respectfully. Baby's there, and the head and the feet are together, right? So you're in a sort of that kind of position. And sorry, I should just say before I continue, no one imagine me like this. I haven't imagined any of you being born, okay? And you're the first audience I've not done that to. So let's just have a truce for the next few seconds. No one will imagine anyone being born, okay? So the baby is in the canal, and it's the head and the feet are together, and it's coming out. I feel like some of you are doing it. And I specifically asked you not to. You know, I need to remain dominant in the room, so when you get home, do it as much as you like, you know? Get it into AI or whatever you want to do with the image. So the baby's coming out, ass first, essentially. I don't think I did. I don't think I did that. I might have done like one cheek and then just stood up. Slipped a tenner in boss man's pocket like she was I couldn't get around this idea that I'd ever been so lowly, you know, I'd ever made such a fool of myself. I couldn't get over it. And I sat with it for a few months and I thought, do you know what? It's time to embrace who I am. You know? Time to embrace that I am breech birth. I am breech birth. The more I sat with it, the more I thought, do you know what? I'm a comedian. I've got a little rat brain. I'm always looking for an angle, you know? Breech birth comedian. How many of you in here have ever seen a breech birth comedian before? None of you. Because I've marketed it, I've trademarked. I started looking online for my community, you know, for my people. Thinking we could do like a parade or something, like we could get something really good going. I started looking for other people to collab with, you know, other famous people who were breech birth, and I found this one woman. She's called Aileen Warnos, right? This one woman. She had all this press online. She had all these documentaries, all these interviews, had all this really great press, and I thought, I'll send her a message, you know, and ask her if she wants to do a podcast together or something. I don't know. The breech birth bitches. I don't know. It'd be great. And she very, very rudely never got back to me, unfortunately. I did find out that Aileen Warnos was put to death in 2002 for being America's first female serial killer. It doesn't mean you don't respond to a message, though. Like, who does that? Who does anything? I looked more into Aileen Warnos. You know that her mother attributes her breech birth to her being a killer. That's what she thinks did it. My mother thinks that my breech birth makes me put my arm in the grabber game at the arcade. I know that Aileen Warnos is having like a resurgence in popularity at the moment, which sounds like a strange sentence to say, but it's true. It's true. Like people are sort of, you know, finding a new angle on her, and she always used to have this catchphrase where she would say, "They're trying to fry me like a witch." Okay, brilliant catchphrase. Imagine that on a t-shirt. Another one of my career plans scuppered. by society's need for judicial execution. You know? What a shame, what a shame. But I know that a lot of women today, they admire, you know, the witch trial era. It's come back, isn't it? And people see new meaning in it. You know, a lot of women, they say, we are the daughters of the witches you couldn't burn. That's not really me, you know, that's not my vibe at all. I don't relate to that. I'm much more like, I am the daughter of the women who are quite nice. And who you wouldn't want to burn because they're so nice. That's not me. That's just what I'm about, you know. That's what I relate to. And admittedly, I don't know much about the witch trials, I have to be honest. I do know that it was a period in history where women were being witches. I'm thinking they could get away with it. And some good hard-working lads said, not on my timepiece, sweetheart. No, you don't. No, you don't. You know? I don't believe that the witch trials happened as they did. Right? I really don't think it happened like that. I have it on good authority that men in the 1500s were actually the nicest men. So it doesn't make any sense, you know? And in their defense, if I had a friend who, you know, was accused of being a witch, I really think that the only way that she could prove to me that she wasn't one would be if she drowned, you know? See, it doesn't look so silly now, does it? Like, I think that the guys back then, they were just really creative, you know? And they didn't have anywhere to put that kind of creativity. Like, they didn't have male idols like guys have today. They didn't have people like Ross Kemp. They didn't have Greg Wallace. Like, what Like, I don't know, I've just always kind of seen it more from the guy's perspective, you know. I've always had more guy friends than girlfriends. You know, they're just a lot more chill, there's just like no drama with them, you know. I had this really great group of guy friends a couple of years ago. Back when I used to do zorbing, right? Some of you recognise me. Yeah, that's where I'm from. If you don't know what zorbing is, it's kind of hard to put into words because it's so cool. We don't have the vocabulary yet, you know. I can't do it justice. And you know, I didn't mean to get into zorbing. What happened was I basically gave it a go once and I got diarrhea in the ball. And when that happens, you have to buy the ball. Fair enough, you know, fair enough. So I thought I'd give it a go, you know, I'd give it my best shot because I'm the only woman who's ever zorbed in the history of zorbing. I really took off, right, and straight away, you know, I was huge in the industry, it was really massive, and you know, I was on the front cover of Zorb UK monthly magazine. And that's it, and that's you massive in the industry, that when you get on the cover of that. And I had this great group of friends, as I say, great group of guy friends, but because I was becoming so huge in the industry, so massive, that it made them feel less, you know, does that make sense? It made them feel less than. And I knew that they were getting so resentful of me, but it really came to a head when one day I went to the place that we zorb. I went there and I opened my cubby hole up and I got out all my zorbing gear like the ball and presumably some like little gloves or something. I got all my stuff out, and I realised that it had all been ruined, right? It had all been completely sabotaged, and I knew that it was my friends that had done it. That I'd made them feel so bad about themselves that they'd been forced to come in here and destroy my belongings so that I couldn't zorb anymore. I felt so bad about that. I felt awful that I'd done that to them. So I went to apologise. I said sorry. I said that I'd shrink myself and I wouldn't do zorbing anymore, and they could just get on them doing it like the lads doing it, Do you know what happened? They all just climbed into one big zorb ball, all 20 of them, and they just zorbed away. Just like that. I lost my friends, I lost my career, and zorbing lost another working class voice. I felt so bad about that. I think it's because I thought that there's basically, I don't know how to say this, but I don't want to shock you all. There's a male loneliness epidemic right now. Are you guys aware of this? I don't want to scare anyone, but there's actually a male loneliness epidemic. I'm trying to sort it, guys. I'm trying to sort it. If any women in here would fucking help me, right? Can't do it on my own, girls. Can't do it on my own. And I couldn't believe that I'd added to that. I'd kind of made that worse and hurt these guys' feelings so badly. So I took some time out, took some time to myself to really find out what was wrong with me. So I got an exorcism, right? Exorcism. There's a guy in Rhyl Journal who does them. It's called Big Barry's Exorcisms. And the tagline of the business is, if it's in you, I'll get out of you. So I was like, that's my guy, right? Bring him round, bring him round, bring him round. And let me tell you something, ladies. There is no Pinterest board for an exorcism, okay? You don't know what to wear. There's like no clue. So I just went for the classic Victorian nightgown. But they're a bit frumpy, aren't they? So I got, one of those waist belts from the 2010s. And if you had big boobs, they sort of sit on the top of it like that. So I'm looking gorgeous, right? I'm looking really cinched in, which was the style at the time. And Big Barry comes round, right? And he leans over me on the bed. Oh, so I'm a bit of a newbie, so I'm like, oh, what's that what I do? Is that I know? That's what it is. That's comfy, I'm snuggly. And he leans over me on the bed, right, and he starts wiggling his fingers around, he starts chanting away, and I swear to God, I started floating off the bed, right? And all this smoke started coming out of my skin. All this gunge was coming out of my mouth, right? But by the end of it, I could eat gluten. So it is worth the 20 quid if you want to get it done. He's a good man. He's on TripAdvisor. He's a good guy. I was thinking more about the male loneliness epidemic. I think it just gets to me so much because I know one of the loneliest men. My Uncle Plod. Sweet Uncle Plod. You know, in the 90s, he actually won Best Contributor to Readers' Wives. He's that kind of guy. Guys don't love their wives like that anymore, you know? They're not proud of their wives like that. And recently, my auntie left him. Sorry, sometimes I become hysterical, which is typical. I'm a woman doing comedy. I'm hysterical. Men, they just don't. They don't love their wives like that anymore. They're not proud of them. Like, they don't want to show them off in a magazine like that. It's a shame. It's sad. There's something there. You know, my auntie recently left him for just a better life. Just to be happy. So he's so lonely. You know, he's the kind of guy where he spends his days writing on Facebook about how immigrants are making him go bald. And, you know, sometimes I think he's really losing it, right? Because he'll ring me up and be convinced that he's cracked the recipe to Lucozade. You know, every time I go back to Rhyl, I see him doing his usual Monday morning routine, shadow boxing outside Paddy Power. I feel for him. You know, this is the thing about my uncle. He actually fought in World War II, which is remarkable because he's only 56. He's a great man. He's part of one of the most discriminated against groups in Britain. Yes. White middle-aged men who cut their toenails on public transport. When will they see justice? You know? Are you okay? It's okay. It's okay. I was going to come towards you for some reason. I didn't think to just walk into the crowd and never return. So I admire my uncle. You know, he's so lonely. He does have his Toby jugs for company. He does. If you don't know what Toby jugs are, they're basically like Beanie Babies, but for wrong uns. He's got so many now, he's starting to look like one of them. I go into his house, I can't find them. I have to just start putting my hand in heads. Until I can't. And if that doesn't work, I go outside and I just shout, "Uncle Plod, there's a woman out here who's unburdened," and he just shoots out. Trying to find her to tell her about his hemorrhoids, that kind of guy. It's just that kind of guy. But his loneliness, it bothers me, it really bothers me. Like, you know, I said to him once, I said, "Uncle Plod, why don't you try doing stand-up?" You know? I've met loads of great people doing stand-up. I've got this great group of friends doing stand-up and everyone's so nice and friendly. And he says to me, "Yeah, I could do a bit of that stand-up stuff. I could do that." Because, like, everyone says I'm dead funny down the Victory Club. And, like, I've always liked a bit of manning. Like, yeah, I could do it. And you do it, and you're a woman, so I could definitely do it. Like, no question. So I introduced him to my male comedian friend. Guy called Bobby Joke, right? Bobby Joke. Now, we had a very typical male-female comedian friendship in that I was 19 and he was 63. Very typical. Honestly, you should see Bobby's stuff. He's such a brilliant comedian. He's one of these guys that really tells it like it is, you know? He really tells it like it is, but just from his perspective. And with no empathy, you know? It's a brilliant mind, you know, I really look up to him. You know, we were friends for a while, and when we were friends, he had this girlfriend, right? Oh my God. Let me tell you about this woman. Such a horrible girlfriend, really abusive girlfriend he had. You know, she wouldn't let him set off fireworks in the house. Even on Brexit. Horrible woman, honestly. Really abusive. And when they broke up, I was so happy. You know, I was happy that he was out of it and he was finally free. Something really weird happened when they broke up. Like, this was around the time of the pandemic where there was a real witch trial. Okay, it was a time online when good, hard-working male comedians who just so happened to be sex criminals, oh, it's illegal to be a sex criminal now, right. Country's gone. Can't believe it. Those good, hard-working male comedians, they were being attacked, like viciously attacked by these bitter, scornful women, right? He was coming at them and saying like, oh, you know, he's an abuser and he's a bad guy, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing, and I couldn't believe it when I saw Bobby's girlfriend getting involved, you know, after all the things that she'd put him through. She was trying to make out that she was the victim and he was the abuser. I couldn't believe it. Because, like, yeah, she'd lived with him for 10 years, but I'd done 2 car journeys with the guy, you know? I know him. You know, every time we stopped for petrol, he offered to get me a packet of crisps. Does that sound like an abuser to you? No, it doesn't. It's ludicrous, absolutely ludicrous. And she kept going on. She was writing like all these tweets, saying stuff about him, saying what a bad guy he is. And eventually he comes to me, Bobby, and he asks me to be the woman in his corner, you know, to come out and say, oh, this is all lies, and I know him, she's talking shit, and to really stick up for him publicly. And he comes to me and he says, Jane, you know women, they lie. They lie. They make up stories about men. They do that in a comedy show for an hour at 532 Theatre in Manchester. And I was like, I would never do that. And he was like, I know you wouldn't. That's why we're friends. So I agreed to be the woman in Bobby's corner, right? I agreed to stand up for him. So I start reading through all this stuff that she's writing. And as I'm reading, I start to see some of what she's saying in our friendship. You know, like being controlling, the ranting and raving at me, belittling, just taking his anger out on me all the time. Like I started to see a bit of what she was saying, you know what I mean? So I took some time out from comedy around that time. It was very confusing. And it was around the time of the pandemic where a lot of us, we sort of left our normal lives anyway. We're working these strange little jobs. I was working in a warehouse at the time, putting microchips into vaccines. You know, you never think your hobby can become your job. Everything changed, and I was working the line, and you know, I'd never done sort of manual labour before. As I say, I'm a bit of a soft sod, and I was moving things down the line all day, and what can happen is your body isn't used to the repetitive motions. So I'm on this line 8 hours a day, and at the end of the day, it felt like my core muscles just gave out. Like it was the strangest feelings. It just felt like everything here just sort of imploded. I crouched down on the floor, and this girl opposite me, she says, "What's up with you?" And I said, "You know, in the gunpowder plot?" I said, "There was this guy called Little John, right? He wasn't part of the main group. He basically made priest holes. So when they were rounding up the Jesuits, they got him as well. And they took him to the tower, and he had this big hernia on his stomach, right? So they weren't supposed to torture him, but they did. They racked him. And when they were racking him, he literally started to split open, right? So all of his insides were coming out. And like, to stop that from happening, they got this like metal plate, and they tied it to him with ribbons to literally keep his guts inside his body. And that's kind of how this feels. And I looked into this woman's eyes and I just realised, oh my God, I'm autistic. So I got diagnosed, right? I got diagnosed, and I don't know if anyone in here has ever been diagnosed late with autism, which seems like a bit of a silly thing to say to my audience, but in case you haven't, it's basically your parents telling you that you're boring in a clinical environment, right? It's a very trippy experience. And when they diagnose you, something I didn't know is that they just sort of like release you back into the world, right? They don't give you anything, they don't really tell you that much. They just sort of give you a website address and just sort of let you out back in amongst society. And the thing is that when you get diagnosed late, and I know for a lot of women, it's the same story. Like, you kind of lived your life completely wrong, because your perception of what your life is, it's just not that. Like, you think that everyone would just have your best interests in heart, and people wouldn't lie to you, and that, people wouldn't ever want to hurt you. They'd always keep your feelings in mind, and anything like that does happen, it's just a mistake, it's just how it is, or, they didn't mean it. And I was so confused about where to go from here. Like, I really didn't know what to do. But I felt like I was missing information. So I started looking for answers. And I went to the place where the answers are. TikTok. That's where we keep them, right? That's where we keep the answers. I started to scroll through. And as I'm scrolling, something magical happened. These mystical women started appearing on my timeline. They're women who were always sat in the front seat of a car. And the car is parked in a kind of liminal space. But I can tell through one corner of the window that they're in America. I don't know how I do it. And they started to teach me things, like just straight up teach me like the facts of life that I'd never learned before. And I started to get brainwashed into thinking that I was a human being. I started going further and further down this rabbit hole online. I started to get red-pilled into thinking I was deserving of respect, It's crazy what they were doing to my mind. And after a while, I decided I was going to say something to Bobby Joke, I went up to him, and I said, "You're not going to treat me like that anymore, lad. I'm not your fucking punching bag. Why don't you treat me how you treat all the other guys? Like, I'm not going to put up with you ranting and raving to me anymore. You're making my life miserable." After saying that, the weirdest thing happened. That's never happened before. Oh, thank God. The weirdest thing happened, right? After I finally stood up to myself, to Bobby Joke, right, other male comedians, some of whom I'd known for over a decade and been great friends with, who had nothing to do with this situation at all, they just turned on me. Like, it was the strangest thing. It was like a wall just got erected around me. It was like me saying something, even as simple as that. It just kind of like broke a spell in the group. I started to get bullied, like really badly bullied. It's like I'd go to things and I wouldn't be welcome, or I'd hear that like they were in their group chats, in their little covens, all slagging me off, saying they were going to get me, they were going to do this, they were going to do that. Like grown men, like 40-year-old man. I just didn't know what was happening. I went to one gig, right? I said to one of these lads, I said at the end, again, friends for years, really good friends for over a decade, and I said to him, "See you, mate." And he came into my face, and he went, "Yeah, I doubt it." And I knew what was happening. That was the moment I knew. I'd seen women go through this before. I knew what was happening. I knew I was getting pushed out. I thought, God, I'm not even going to be able to do comedy anymore. This thing I've given my whole life to, like, that's it for me. It got so nasty. The thing is with patriarchy is that I think a lot of us think that we don't live in it. Oh, you know, it would never happen to me. But then it just does. Like, you just say something, you put a toe outside of the house and the whole house falls in on you. And I got really low, frighteningly low. And yeah, I did say something. I said something online. I didn't mention any names or anything. I just said I was getting bullied and that something was going on. It was the only thing I could think to do. I just sent a flare up. And after months of this, I was really in a hole, and I knew that I don't know, find another job. I just didn't know what was happening. No one was speaking to me. And eventually, one of these guys, again, great friend, this guy, comes out to speak to me. And I think, thank God, you know. All this is going to be over. You know, he knows me. This is just some big misunderstanding. He came out to speak to me. And I'm saying, you know, if I've said anything wrong, I'll take it back and I'll apologise to Bobby, I'll apologise to everyone, and we can just go back to normal. He looks into my face and he goes, "For talking back, you could have your career ruined for that." I got so angry about it. I've never been so angry in my life. I just thought, who the fuck do any of you think you are? For what? Mildly sticking up for myself. I get to have my life ruined over it. And these are the nice guys. These are the guys that aren't like other guys. It was like I set off like a centuries-old instinct in them. It just snapped shut on my head. Let me tell you, when the house falls down around you, it's just your legs sticking out. It's daft. I thought, do you know what? I'm going to go further. I'm going to go further than this. You're not threatening me. You're not pushing me out easy as that. So I went back to every guy I'd ever known. I went back to my ex-boyfriend, I went back to McAnthony, I went back to Bod, I went back to the Zorbing guys. And I said to each and every one of them, I said, you know what? For treating me like an object, I'll make you into an object.